Hello, YouTube. It's Dante back at it. So, today's topic, I want to talk about kind of my thoughts on the differences between moving heads and follow spots. So, now I've used a follow spot. I should say I use follow spots more than I've used moving heads during my time doing lighting. And my idea behind I think I have a preference for the moving head, and it's mainly because the moving heads, like some of these here, automated. You know what I mean? They have automated styles because essentially a follow spot and a moving head do a lot of the same things. They focus on the subject. They have the ability to follow a certain subject. They're movable lights. And that's kind of the gist. Now, the moving head, of course, like I said, is automated. The follow spot is not. You need manual control in order to, efficiently use a follow spot. Now, of course, when you're using a follow spot, you have probably more precision and control. Like when you look at one of these follow spots here, let's use the follow spot, the 120 ST as an example, and you have all of these different kinds of features and functions that the follow spot can use. And the way I kind of see it is, in order to use some of those features, even though a lot of those things can be controlled via DMX, you kind of want the ability to kind of move the fader just right, or press the right button, and sometimes a controller can't do that. I mean, you look at this here, you have you got dimmer buttons, you got shutter buttons, which is basically strobe. You got the color buttons, change the colors, or green, red, cyan, whatever. And then of course DMX capability and stuff like that. And it's something that I don't know if a board, like if you control this like a moving head, you're most likely going to control it from a board, some kind of either software or hardware. And okay, fine, but boards don't always offer the right kind of control, if that makes sense. Let me. There's controllers out there that are starting to be created to kind of. Let me guys show you a little something here. adj.com. I'm actually gonna go adj. So Wi-Fi any1, I think it is, which is that controller is more of a controller that was built for like moving heads. So they're starting to build controllers like that. I'll just look at some of the images. We don't need to see the whole product in action, but that's the gist of the controller. And so the Any1 is a wireless DMX controller from American DJ that basically is built to tackle moving heads. It's a moving head board. And of course it can control other lighting, but it was kind of geared towards it. You know, these knobs here, and I'll buff up the image here, but these knobs each control like the panning and the tilting of the head and everything like that. So you have a lot of flexibility controlling the moving heads, and then you have different buttons over here that kind of give you different gobo effects, and even just moving head effects and stuff like that. That you can program the controller, so you can have the moving heads facing one way, and then press another button, they're facing the opposite. Press one button, they turn red. Press another button, they turn green. So it's really a moving head board, which it kind of helps that precision, because a lot of boards and a lot of controllers and a lot of software and stuff aren't they're they make it generic because a lot of different kinds of fixtures can be used via DMX. So they make a lot of these controllers and boards and things very generic looking. And that ends up kind of, it can work, but it doesn't, it may not, it may feel a little awkward to control it. Like, software boards, for instance, some of the ones that I've looked at, to control the panning, right? You have, whether it's the panning or the tilt, you have vertical bars, vertical faders, like a standard board, right? And it's kind of weird to move a fader up and down, and you want your moving head to move left and right. It's it's a little awkward. So with boards like these that have the knobs, they kind of give you that extra precision. I know exactly which way I'm turning it and what I want to do with it, and kind of like that. So I mean, but follow spots are usually stronger. They usually have a lot more output. The wattage and everything, and they can muster up a lot of stuff. A lot of things that moving heads and follow spots have in common, they can both, depending, but they can both produce gobo images. They can both change colors, especially modern day follow spots where they have the built-in color wheel. Because a lot of the older follow spots, you could still do it. You just have to get the gel and the frame and put it in front of the light or whatever, and then you'll be able to change the color that way. But nowadays, they're kind of building it in so you can get those colors like you see here. So, it's kind of one of those things about the differences. Like, I love my follow spot that I've been using at my church when I used to, do it and everything. And it was, it had a lot of functionality. But the one thing that I wish I could do with it was, especially if I'm short-handed, be able to plug that into a board and do what I want to do with it, without having to get up and actually manually be a part of the experience, whether it's, and mainly panning and tilting. DMX control for follow spot will usually give you, and even changing the beam angle, and the iris and everything. That kind of stuff is usually automated on moving heads, depending on the price and quality and different things. You can get automated beam shaping and iris control and things like that. So that's another perk for why I like using moving heads, and you can use it with the board more efficiently than whereas a follow spot, you're going to have to be a lot more hands-on, which you may not always be able to do. But you guys let me know what you think. Do you prefer using follow spots or moving heads when it comes to, let's kind of just list the different ways, right? Following people, highlighting people, whether it's for a play or a ceremony or something, and you just want this person to be the center of attention. Producing gobo images. Of course, with the follow spots, they're bigger, so your gobos are going to be bigger and you can have more coverage. Not barely any, I'm willing to bet that barely any of these moving heads that can produce gobo images can match the size that this gobo image would give you. I'm pretty sure they're bigger. I mean, we could look at the specs and kind of get an idea of what the size is. I guess probably not. You'd have to open the manual, yeah. Which I'm not going to do that here, but I'm willing to bet that. And I'm more familiar with American DJ equipment because when I was doing lighting, I used mostly American DJ. So, but I know from American DJ side, the follow spot gobo was a lot bigger than the other gobos that I used, or that you would use in moving heads and stuff like that. So you get more coverage in that sense, and I mean, in a sense, that's okay if you're gonna just have the follow spot kind of just sit there and you have no intention of moving it. Then it's ironic that it's called a follow spot because the moving head is a lot better at following than the follow spot, honestly. But like I said, you guys let me know what you guys prefer, and obviously one isn't across the board better than another one. There's advantages to follow spots, there's advantages to moving heads, and I think my preference is moving heads, just from my own experience. But obviously the type of lighting that you do and the things that you need done and your style and things like that, you're probably going to use one more than the other and invest in one more than the other. So let me know what you guys think about that. Follow me on Twitter at DelanoTweets. I tweet there fairly, not as often as I used to, but I tweet, and it's mostly about sports. I don't actually tweet a lot about lighting, which is kind of interesting that I would tell you to go follow me over there, and I really don't, but whatever, it's fine. Check me out on my website, Delano.com. If you're watching this video on the website, great. If you're watching from YouTube, it's in the description. You can go ahead and click on that, visit me over there. Other than that, I look forward to the next video. Thanks for watching, and keep shining.